everyone, and welcome to this deep dive. It's all about aging, but not in the way you might think.
Yeah, not birthdays or anything.
Exactly. So we're going way deeper than that. We're talking like the cellular level.
Like, how old is your body? Really?
Right, biological age. And get this, we have some really cool research from clinical nutrition to help us understand all this.
It's an article called Suboptimal Dietary Patterns Are Associated with Accelerated Biological Aging in Young Adulthood. A study with twins.
Well, a mouthful, I know. But basically, it's all about how the foods we eat, even in our 20s, can actually speed up or slow down how our body ages.
Yeah, and that's what we're going to uncover today.
Yeah.
Like, what does this research actually tell us about that link between diet and aging?
And of course, what does it mean for you?
Exactly.
Okay, so first things first. How do scientists even measure this whole biological age thing? The study used something called epigenetic clocks.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, that sounds kind of intimidating.
It does sound a little sci-fi.
Yeah.
I get that.
Right.
But it's actually pretty straightforward. It's a way to measure age by looking at changes in how your genes are regulated.
Okay.
Huh.
So kind of like think of it as this tiny little molecular clock inside your cells.
Huh?
And it's keeping track of how your genes are aging.
Right. Epigenetic clocks can look at those changes and then give you a reading of your biological age. And you know what? It can actually be more accurate than just going by your birth date.
Whoa, that's wild. So it's like our genes have their own calendar going on.
In a way.
Yeah, that's so cool. Okay, so this study looked at young adults between 20 and 25 years old, and they focused specifically on twins.
Yep.
Why twins, though?
Well, researchers love twins. It lets them control for genetics. You know, identical twins share all of their genes,
Right.
and fraternal twins share about half ours. So by comparing these two groups, they can see just how much genes influence this whole diet and aging thing.
Oh, I see. Compared to like environmental things like food choices.
Exactly. And yeah, there were actually some interesting connections they found between certain food patterns and how quickly those twins were aging.
Interesting. Okay, so to figure that out, the researchers gave everyone a super detailed food questionnaire.
Yeah, like what they normally eat.
Right, their typical diet. And then they grouped those diets into 6 different patterns.
It was 6 different patterns.
Can you walk us through those real quick?
Absolutely. So on one end of the spectrum, you have the plant-based pattern. Tons of fruits and veggies and whole foods.
Sounds healthy.
Right. Then on the other end, you have the complete opposite. The high fast food, low fruits and vegetables pattern.
Okay, so pretty much what it sounds like.
Exactly. And then there were 4 other patterns that fell somewhere in between.
So like a range of eating habits.
Yeah.
From super healthy to not so much.
Exactly.
All right, so the big question, what did they find?
Well, drum roll, please.
Haha.
The twins in that high fast food, low fruits and vegetables group, you know, the one that's not so healthy,
Right.
they actually showed faster biological aging based on those epigenetic clock measurements.
Oh, wow.
But on the flip side, the twins eating the plant-based diet,
Huh.
they showed slower aging.
So even in their 20s, it's making a difference.
It really is.
That's incredible. And honestly, a little scary to think about. Like, what we eat today is actually shaping how old our bodies get tomorrow.
That's right.
Yeah.
And it's not just about other lifestyle factors either, because the link between diet and aging, it stayed strong even after they accounted for things like exercise, smoking, and BMI.
Oh, wow.
So that tells us that diet has its own separate effect on aging.
So it's not just about being healthy overall. It's the specific foods you're choosing.
Exactly. The food itself matters.
Okay, so let's get back to the twins study for a sec. The researchers found that the link between diet and aging, it was stronger in fraternal twins compared to the identical ones.
Right.
So what does that tell us about genes? Does this mean healthy eating only helps if you have the right genes?
That's a great question. And it really highlights a key point here. The fact that the link was stronger in fraternal twins, you know, who only share some of their genes.
Right.
Well, it suggests that genes definitely play a role in how our bodies respond to diet when it comes to aging.
So it's more complicated than just good genes, good aging, no matter what you eat.
Yeah, it's not that simple.
Yeah.
Right? It's not like you just win the genetic lottery and can eat whatever you want.
So even if you might be predisposed to aging faster,
Uh.
a healthy diet can still help.
You can. It's like imagine you have a head start in a marathon,
Okay.
but you still got to train.
Makes sense. All right. So before we go any further, I want you listening right now to think about your own diet.
Yeah.
If you had to put yourself on that spectrum of eating habits we talked about,
Uh-huh.
where do you land? Are you closer to that plant-based side or somewhere in the middle?
It's a good question to think about because, you know, we're aging right alongside those food choices.
It's true. Even if you're young now, those choices can have a big impact later on.
Exactly. They really add up over time.
Okay, so let's take this research a step further. What if scientists could create a personalized diet score
Oh, wow.
based on your genes and what you normally eat?
That's a really cool idea. A personalized score? It would tell you specifically how your choices are affecting your aging.
Right, and I can see how that would be super helpful, but also maybe a little scary.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Like imagine getting a bad score and realizing your daily burger habit is adding years to your biological age.
Yikes. No
It's a
thanks.
tough balance, between giving people information and actually empowering them to make changes
Mm-hmm.
without making them feel anxious or like it's too late.
Totally. So what do we do with this information? Should we all just go vegan and ditch processed food forever?
Well, not necessarily. I mean, this is just one study,
Mm-hmm.
and we always need more research. But what's exciting is that it shows just how connected diet and aging really are.
Right. So it gives us even more reason to pay attention to what we eat.
Exactly.
But for most of us, I don't think it's about making huge changes overnight.
Definitely not.
So what are some practical things our listener can take away from all of this and actually use in their daily life?
Well, it's all about progress, not perfection,
Yeah.
right? Even small changes make a difference over time.
Yeah.
And a great place to start is by slowly adding more fruits and veggies to your meals.
Like swapping that soda for water more often.
Exactly. And being mindful of how much processed food and fast food you're eating.
Right.
Those little swaps can really improve your overall diet and maybe even your biological age, too.
I love that we can have a say in how we age. It's not all about our genes or some predetermined fate.
I agree. This research shows just how important it is to be proactive about our health.
By making good choices about our diet and how we live, we can actually impact how we age.
And hopefully have a healthier and happier future.
It's like we have our own little time machines.
Sort of.
Who knows what other cool stuff research will uncover about slowing down aging.
Right.
Maybe one day we'll even have personalized diet plans based on our genes.
That would be amazing.
So much potential. But even without all that fancy stuff,
Uh-huh.
we already know a lot about making healthy choices.
We do. It's all about using that knowledge.
Exactly. Now that you've heard all about the link between what you eat and how you age, what are you going to do with that information?
Yeah.
I think some people might be listening and thinking, oh, I definitely don't eat plant-based.
Right.
So does that mean I'm just stuck aging faster?
Not at all. Don't worry. It's important to remember, this study is really about finding patterns,
Huh?
and seeing how things are connected. It's not about saying your diet is good or bad,
Right.
or like you're destined to age a certain way because of what you eat.
Right. So it's more about giving us information than freaking us out.
Exactly. It's like a little peek into how much power we have to change things.
Yeah, to impact our own health.
I like that.
And it's about realizing, that the choices we make today can have consequences later on.
So instead of feeling guilty about that burger and fries every once in a while,
Yeah.
we can use this info to make choices that help us reach our health goals. It's exactly.
Yeah.
Maybe hearing about this link between diet and faster aging will inspire you to change some things up.
Right.
Or maybe you'll decide that those treats are worth it in moderation.
Totally. It's all about knowing the potential downsides and making choices that feel good for you.
Right.
Okay. So to wrap up our deep dive into diet and biological age, I think the big takeaway here is that you're not just what you eat. You age like what you eat.
It's true.
And even in your 20s, what you choose to eat can affect how fast your body ages at the cellular level.
But here's the exciting part.
Yeah.
This isn't about restrictions or feeling trapped.
Mm-hmm.
It's about knowing you have more control over your health than you might think.
I love that.
Yeah.
And if this research has got you curious, I say dig in.
Yeah.
Explore the source material, do some research, and most importantly, listen to your body.
Your body knows best.
As you go about your day, we'll leave you with a thought-provoking question. If scientists could create a personalized diet score based on your genes and your food choices, would you want to know your score and how it might affect your future health? Something to think about.
Definitely.
Until next time, happy eating, and here's to aging gracefully, both inside and out.